I sent $700 every week so they'd never worry again. But on my son's birthday, I found them tagged at my sister's baby shower. They sent him a $10 gift and texted, "We're not obligated to show up for everyone's kids." I secured 3 accounts, paused the shared grocery card, and that night, a plain envelope arrived. Inside was, "My name's Ben. I'm 33, oldest child, the steady one. I do bookkeeping for small businesses, drive a dented Corolla, and make lists for everything because lists make chaos feel solvable. I've got a 7-year-old son named Jamie who loves space stickers and vanilla cupcakes with too many sprinkles. I'm divorced, friendly with my ex, and most days feel like I'm juggling knives with a smile. 3 years ago, I told my parents, 'You'll never worry again.' I meant it. My dad's back went bad after decades on ladders. Mom's wrists ache when the weather changes. I set up an automatic transfer, $700 every Friday, plus the shared grocery card with my name on it. I handled internet, trash, and the phone bill because every time they called me, the opening line was, 'We're drowning, Benny,' and I couldn't stand the sound. I thought I was buying stability. Maybe I was buying peace. Maybe I was buying a version of myself that didn't feel like a scared kid anymore. On the morning of Jamie's party, Saturday, 10 a.m., pizza ordered, 12 little chairs around our small backyard table. My phone buzzed while I was taping a paper rocket to the fence. It was my mom. "Where do you want us to park? Your street is a mess." I smiled. "Down by the corner. I'll save you a slice." "Save us too," she said and hung up. At 11:15, kids were sprinting through bubbles. My ex, Nora, was helping me light the sparkler candles. "Your folks close?" she asked. "They're 5 minutes away," I said. I believed it. I kept believing it through the cake song, through Jamie's shy little bow, through the first present. When the doorbell rang, Jamie looked up with that hopeful look kids have when they've been promised something. It was my downstairs neighbor with ice. At 12:02, the bubble machine coughed itself out and the parents started the polite leave-taking dance. Nora touched my elbow. "Text them." I typed, "Where are you?" No answer. A minute later, my phone buzzed again, not a text, but a tag on social media. My sister Mia had posted a boomerang, pastel balloons, a white cake that said baby girl in pink script, and my parents in the background, clapping. Location tagged, Mia's shower. I stared at the screen like it might rearrange itself into my reality. Then the group chat pinged. The family one I always mute because it's mostly forwarded minion memes and chain prayers. "Mia, she's kicking." Mom reacted with a heart. Dad posted a blurry photo of Pink Punch. Under that, my son's name sat in our private thread like a question. "Are Nana and Pop here yet?" He'd spelled Pop with 2 P's because that's how it sounds when he says it in a rush. I called Mom. It rang once and went to voicemail. Then a text popped up. From Mom. "We're not obligated to show up for everyone's kids. Don't be dramatic." I read it twice. The words were short and mean, like little stones tossed at my chest. Another ping, an Amazon e-gift, $10. The note said, "Happy birthday, lil man. Nana and Pop." Nora saw my face change. "What happened?" I handed her the phone. She winced. "Ben." "Yeah," I said. I kept my voice level because little people were still playing astronaut. Jamie ran over holding a paper crown. "Dad, can you tape this?" "Of course, bud." I taped it crooked on purpose because he likes it that way. He glanced at the front gate again. He didn't ask, not with words, but I heard it anyway. When the last kid waved goodbye, I took the trash out and sat on the back step. The sky was the kind of blue that feels fake. My phone vibrated one more time. "Mia, don't guilt trip Mom today. It's my day." I typed, deleted, typed again. Nothing I wrote sounded like a person I wanted to be. My thumb hovered over the keyboard until the screen dimmed. Inside, the paper rockets drooped. The sprinkler left little wet polka dots on the cement. Jamie was in the living room lining up his new cars. He looked up and smiled with his whole face. "We had a good party, Dad." "Yeah, we did," I said. I didn't add the rest. I thought about the Fridays. About how many $700s were now buried somewhere under pastel balloons and plates of pink cupcakes. About the sentence I'd said 3 years ago like a vow. I heard my own voice in my head. "You'll never worry again." A small part of me, the clean ledger part, whispered, "This is data. Believe it." I didn't do anything then. Not yet. I stacked plates. I swept up confetti. I answered Jamie's questions about Saturn's rings. The decision, when it came, would be very quiet. But the first crack? It was that text. Short, mean, and truer than they intended. People tell you family debts don't have interest. They do. It accrues in glances, in sighs, in the way your name shows up on the screen only when a bill is due. I grew up in a house where money was a constant guest at the table, loud, rude, never invited, somehow still served first. Dad was a handyman who never made it to union rates. Mom worked part-time at a bakery and stretched everything like taffy. We weren't starved, but nothing felt safe. Rent due dates were spelled on the calendar in red. The car hummed like a distant threat. We counted change for milk. I started working at 16. Bagger, tutor, busboy. I was good with numbers because numbers didn't lie to me. At 19, when Mia borrowed my debit card to get her nails done before prom, Mom said, "She'll pay you back when she can," like I was the bank and she was the weather. College was cheap because I stayed in town and lived at home. Cheap didn't mean free. I paid my share because we're a family meant Ben will figure it out. When Jamie was born, I swore I'd never make him feel like a bill. I wanted him to think money was a tool, not a ghost. Then Dad slipped off a porch step and something in his back gave up. His work slowed, then stopped, then turned into a stack of denial letters that said pre-existing. Mom's wrists started aching for real. The bakery cut her hours. I remember the call from her that December. She didn't cry. She just breathed into the phone like there wasn't enough air in the room. "Benny, I don't know how we're going to get through winter." I did the math that night. My income, their rent, utilities, groceries, prescriptions. I set it up, $700 every Friday. I added them as authorized users on a grocery card with a $1,200 limit. I switched their cell plan onto mine because theirs was predatory. I put their internet on autopay. I did all of it because the relief in Mom's voice felt like something holy. At first, they were grateful. Dad would text, "Thank you, kiddo," with too many spaces. Mom would send a photo of a stew and write, "Look, we're eating good." I kept receipts. I built a spreadsheet because I'm me. I told myself, it's temporary. Give them a runway, and they'll land somewhere safe. Months slid into seasons. The gratitude faded into habit. Then habit soured into expectation. It wasn't a big thing. It was 100 small ones. "Can you bump Fridays to $900 this week?" The gas bill was insane. The pharmacy didn't have the generic. Mia had a doctor copay. You know how it is when you're expecting. When Mia got pregnant, my parents treated it like a family project. They organized meal trains for her and sent me lists: bassinet, stroller, sound machine. Every list had prices next to it, and a little "can you" written like a joke. When I hesitated even a little, Mom would pull out the lines that live rent-free in adult children's heads. "We did everything for you. You're so lucky you can help. Don't be selfish, Ben. Family is about sacrifice." I learned to translate. You owe us for the childhood we provided. I also learned to swallow the sentence that bubbled up every time. I was a kid. I didn't ask to be born into your math. There were bright spots. Jamie and I built Lego cities. Nora and I found a polite rhythm, trading weekends and softball practices. I got a promotion and told no one because the moment you say more money around certain people, they start measuring your pockets with their eyes. Then the slippage started to show. A double charge on the grocery card. A surprise spa day for Mom that somehow landed on my statement. "It was a Groupon," she said, as if discounts changed the math. I tried soft boundaries. "Hey, the grocery card is for food and basics. Please don't put extras on it." "Mom, so now shampoo is a luxury?" "Wow." I set alerts. I moved the bill due dates. I told myself I was managing, not enabling. But every Friday 9 a.m., like church bells, $700 left my account. When Nora and I talked about Jamie's party, I did what I always do, built a plan. I booked the backyard gate repair. I budgeted for pizza, cake, favors. I bought extra chairs. I saved two with little sticky notes that said Nana and Pop. I told Jamie they were coming because why wouldn't they come? I'd made it so they never had to choose between gas and groceries, between heat and light. Surely they could choose him. The week before the party, Mia called me at 10 p.m. and said, "Can you Venmo me $85? The shower favors were more expensive than we thought. I'll pay you back when my maternity leave kicks in." I was half asleep. I said, "Not tonight, Mia. I've got a tight week." Silence. Then, wow, you changed. I didn't argue. I just stared at the ceiling and felt something I couldn't name yet. 2 days later, Mom texted, "Don't forget soda for tomorrow. Your father can't have diet." I wrote, "Already got it. See you at 11. She wrote back a thumbs up. You know the rest of that day? The tag, the $10, the line about not being obligated to everyone's kids. That night, after Jamie fell asleep with cake on his cheek, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop and opened the spreadsheet. I scrolled. 3 years. $700 times 52 times 3. Plus the raises. Plus the extra Fridays. Plus the grocery card overages. Plus the utilities. The number on the bottom line looked like the price of a small car or a year of college. My throat went tight. Not because of the number alone, but because of the sentence next to it in my notes. Goal: give them breathing room. I pictured the baby shower balloons and realized I'd bought helium for a room I wasn't in. I didn't sleep. I watched the kitchen clock click to 12 o'clock. I watched it get to 12:05. I listened to the building hum. When my phone lit up at 12:14 with a group chat message, Mia again, we are so blessed, I felt a clean kind of cold inside. At 1:02, my email pinged. It was a notification from the grocery card. Attempted purchase declined. $246.73 at Supermart. The decline wasn't because of funds. It was because 15 minutes earlier, I had logged in and changed a setting called pre-authorization required. I stared at the word required. It felt like a door clicking shut in a quiet house. I didn't message anyone. Not yet. I closed the laptop. I checked on Jamie. I lay down and stared at the ceiling. For the first time in years, I let myself think the thought fully. Maybe I'm not keeping them afloat. Maybe I'm sinking with them. Sunday morning, 8:07 a.m., my phone rang. MOM, in all caps because she set it up that way. I let it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, she called again. Then a third time. On the fourth, I answered. Benny, she said, breathless like she'd run somewhere. Your card didn't work last night. We were humiliated at the register. I stared at the sun cutting across the floor. Hi, Mom. Good morning. Don't be snide. We had groceries. Your father was there. They made us put things back. Did you have the money to cover it? A pause. That's not the point. The point is, you set that card up for us. I set it up for groceries and basics, not for party favors and spa days. She sucked in air. So you're punishing us because we couldn't attend your little backyard pizza thing? I felt the clean cold again. My son's birthday. We have lives, Ben. We can't be everywhere. Mia's baby shower was. More important, I finished. I got the message. She went for the line that usually shuts me down. We're family. So act like it, I said. Calm. Too calm. Mom, listen carefully. I'm pausing the shared grocery card. I'm not adding extras to Friday transfers anymore. It stays at $700 until we make a plan. I'm taking over your bills directly, so there's no confusion. I'll pay the utilities to the companies, not to you. I'll see the statements. We're going to have boundaries. A clang on her in like she set something down too hard. Boundaries? You think you're our father? I think I'm the one paying for the roof over your head. Silence stretched, then snapped. Wow, she said, the word sharp. After everything we've done for you. You're cold. Just like your father's mother. I let the insult pass. We'll talk tonight on Zoom. You, Dad, Mia. 6 p.m. I'll send the link. We're going to go over numbers. I'm not clicking any links. Then you can listen on speaker. Either way, we're changing how this works. She hung up. I sent the link. I sent an agenda because I'm that person. 1. Current support. 2. Bills I'll cover directly. 3. What stops today? At 6:03, they joined. I could see the cheap light fixture in their kitchen. Dad looked tired. Mom looked ready to be offended. Mia popped in from a car, selfie angle high. I kept my voice level. For 3 years, I've been sending $700 weekly. I've also been paying your internet, the phone plan, and trash. You've used the grocery card for non-grocery items. I have statements to prove it. Going forward, the card is paused. I'll pay the bills directly. The transfer stays at $700 until we reevaluate in 60 days. Mia snorted. 60 days? Like you're the bank. Like I'm the person funding your lives? I said. Mom crossed her arms. You made a promise. Never worry again. I promised stability, not a blank check. And stability includes showing up for your grandson when you say you will. Mia rolled her eyes. This is about your ego. You want to punish us because we had a shower. I shared my screen. Receipts. Dates. The $85 Venmo request. The spa charge. The double swipes. My cursor hovered over the $10 gift note. I'm not punishing anyone, I said. I'm protecting Jamie and me. And I'm asking you all to respect the boundaries of what I can and will do. Dad finally spoke. Ben, your mother is right about one thing. We counted on you. He didn't look angry. He looked small. I know, I said. That's the problem. Mom went for the jugular. If you stop, we could lose this apartment. Then let's talk about that lease, I said. I'm a guarantor, not a landlord. If you need a cheaper place, I'll help you apply. I'll come to meetings. I'll call agencies. I will not fund last-minute surprises and pretend it's an emergency. Mia laughed, cruel and bright. Oh, look at him. Mr. Boundaries. Is Nora making you do this? No, I said. Jamie is. Mom's mouth curled. You're choosing a child over your parents? Yes, I said. Every time. It's not a choice. The call devolved like they always do. Accusations like confetti, bright and useless. I let it wash over me. I ended the meeting at 6:28. I sat in the quiet after and waited for the crash. It came that night at 9:11. A knock. Not a bang. Soft, polite. When I opened the door, the hallway smelled like laundry and someone's dinner. No one was there. On the mat sat a plain white envelope with my name in block letters. Inside, a photocopy of a mutual lease termination agreement. My parents' signatures. Effective at the end of the month. A handwritten note in my mother's tight print. Since you're in charge now, you can figure out where we live. My brain did that thing where it tries to solve a puzzle while your chest is full of bees. I flipped the paper over. On the back, their forwarding address, mine. Monday morning, I woke up before my alarm. For once, it wasn't anxiety. It was clarity, thin and steady like a wire. I made coffee. I packed Jamie's lunch, PB&J, apple slices, a sticky note with a crooked rocket doodle. I walked him to school. On the way, he held my hand and swung his arm so big it pulled me off balance. You okay, Dad? He asked. I'm good, I said. Big kid good. He grinned like I'd told him a secret. At 9:02, I sat at my kitchen table with a yellow legal pad and started making calls. First, the landlord. I explained the termination letter. I asked questions I already knew the answer to because asking them out loud made the facts real. Yes, Mr. Collins, the property manager said. They've submitted a mutual termination. Your guarantor status ends with the lease. There will be a final walkthrough. Any damages or balance due is billed to tenants first, then guarantor if unpaid. Please send all future notices to me via email, I said. And for the record, do not add me as a tenant. I am not accepting occupancy on their behalf. Understood. Second, the utilities. I removed their address from my autopays and set up separate accounts that I'd pay directly as needed. No cards in their wallets. No, we'll pay you back. It wasn't punishment. It was a moat. Third, the grocery card company. I spoke to a woman named Patrice who said, "Child, you are kind," and turned off authorized users with a click I could almost hear. I lowered the limit to something that made sense for my household only. I added a second card in my desk labeled emergency use for mom's prescriptions and placed it under a sticky note that said, "Call Ben first." Fourth, I emailed a social worker I'd met at Jamie's school resource night. The subject line, resources for aging parents on fixed income, urgent. I hit send and said out loud, ask for help. Dummy, because I talk to myself like I'm both the client and the accountant. Then I texted Nora. Heads up, my folks may try to show up here. Please don't let them take Jamie or show up at your place. I'm handling it. She wrote back, got you. Want me to be here tonight? I typed, no. I think I need to be the one who answers the door. Then I added a heart, because we earn the right to be kind to each other. At lunch, Mom called 6 times. I let the calls stack. When she texted, we're at Supermart. Card declined again. I sent her the list of local food pantries and the schedule for the mobile distribution truck. I added, I can take you Thursday, 3 p.m. Minutes later, we are not charity cases. I didn't answer. At 3:30, I picked up Jamie. He talked about a poster he made of Jupiter. He held my hand all the way home. At 5:12, there was another knock. Not polite this time. Sharp. I opened the door. My parents stood there with 2 suitcases, a laundry basket, and a plastic plant I recognized from their living room. Mia was behind them with her phone up, recording like she was making content out of my life. Mom went first. We're here. She looked past me like I was a doorbell. No, I said. She blinked. What do you mean, no? We gave notice. We can't go back. You gave notice without a plan. That's not my emergency to solve. I have Jamie this week. This is not a shelter. Mia lowered her phone slightly. Are you serious right now? Dad set the laundry basket down like it was the end of something. Then, he said softly, we don't have anywhere. I stepped into the hallway and closed the apartment door behind me so Jamie wouldn't see. I will pay for 3 nights at a motel, I said. I will drive you to the housing office in the morning. I will sit with you while you fill out forms. I will call your doctor about medication vouchers. I will not let you move in here. That boundary is not cruelty. It's what keeps my family, my son, safe. Mom's face went red. So we're strangers now? You're my parents, I said. That's exactly why I'm telling you the truth. You've turned my help into your plan. That stops tonight. Mia lifted the phone again like a threat. Everyone is going to see what you're doing. I shrugged. Then show them the screenshots too. I pulled out a folder from the table by the door, printouts of transfers, statements, dates. I didn't shove them at her. I just let her see my calm. 3 years, I said. Every Friday. She looked away first. Mom tried a different angle. You're humiliating your father. Dad gave a tiny shake of his head. It was a fraction, but I caught it. We'll take the motel, he said. His voice sounded older than yesterday. I nodded. There's a place on Maple. Clean sheets. I'll book it for 3 nights. I softened, because firm doesn't have to be mean. Bring your meds. We'll start with the housing office at 9. Mia stomped a foot like a child. I'm not staying at a motel. You're not staying here, I said. She looked from me to my dad to the camera on her phone. For a second, I saw the wobble behind her eyes. Then she pasted on a smirk. Whatever. I'll be at Dylan's. She dragged the suitcase down the hall, the wheels thumping like a drumline. Mom watched her go, then looked at me like I'd failed a test she wrote without telling me the questions. We drove to the motel. The front desk clerk slid the key cards across the counter like small verdicts. I paid. I stood in the doorway and said, I'll be back at 8:45. Mom didn't answer. Dad said, okay, like the word cost him money. Back home, Jamie was building a rocket out of paper towels. Can Nana and Pop sleep over? He asked. Not tonight, I said. They're at a hotel. He nodded like that was normal. Kids normalize what they're given. That truth is a gift and a responsibility that sits heavy in my hands. Tuesday morning, we went to the housing office. The waiting room was beige in the way official rooms are. I had a folder. I had copies. I had patience. When the caseworker asked, what brings you in, my mom started to say, my son, and I cut in gently. We're here because my parents terminated a lease early without housing lined up. They'll need immediate placement or a subsidy. Here are their IDs, income statements, and prescriptions. The caseworker, a woman with tired eyes and a kind mouth, looked at me like she'd seen too many versions of my family. There's a wait, she said. But there are options. She gave us forms. She gave us a list. She gave my mother a tone that was firm but not unkind. I watched Mom try to charm her. It didn't work because charm doesn't change math. By Thursday, we had them on a list for a senior apartment with an elevator and no pink balloons. I arranged for a food pantry delivery that they could pretend was from a friend of a friend. I called their doctor and set up a prescription discount. I kept the transfer at $700 and paid the bills to the companies, not to the people. The group chat spun like a loaded wheel. Screenshots of my coldness popped up. Aunts, cousins, people whose weddings I'd danced at and whose GoFundMe I'd shared, chimed in. Aunt Linda, family is forever. Mia, unless you're Ben's family. I posted once. One message. I love my parents. I'm their son. I'm also Jamie's dad. I've sent $700 every week for 3 years, plus utilities and groceries. I'm setting boundaries so I can keep helping without drowning. If you'd like to contribute to Mom and Dad's motel for the next week, here's the link. I attached it. Then I muted the chat again. The only person who donated was my cousin Rachel, $50 with a little heart. Friday came. 9 a.m. The transfer went out. $700 on the dot. No more. No less. I closed my laptop and felt something uncoil between my ribs. That night, Jamie and I watched a space documentary. He fell asleep on my shoulder. For the first time in weeks, my heartbeat didn't sound like footsteps behind me. Saturday morning, Mia posted a sub-tweet about disloyal sons. I didn't read the comments. I packed a picnic. We went to the park. We kicked a ball. We shared grapes. I looked at my son and thought, this is the interest I want my life to earn. 2 weeks later, I drove my parents to their new place, small, quiet, elevator, maple outside. The manager handed them rules. No candles, no unapproved guests, boundaries on a fridge. Mom didn't thank me. She touched the counter like it offended her. Dad patted the couch. It's fine, he said. In the hall, she muttered. You embarrassed us. I just said, Sunday at 11, market. In the car, Jamie asked, are Nana and Pop mad? They're adjusting, I said. He nodded. That night, I made a 2-column sheet. I control, budget, tone, time. I don't, their feelings, Mia's posts. Sticky note, not an ATM. A dad. Sunday, Rachel texted, proud of you. And $20 for Jamie's rockets. A month later, we brought groceries. Mom was civil. Dad pointed at a woodpecker. We left before it got heavy. What I know, I can love them without funding damage. My son comes first. Saying no didn't abandon them. It abandoned who I was. Jamie drew a rocket with us inside and wrote safe. That's the job, keep our ship intact. I still send $700 Fridays and buy his cleats without guilt. They're not obligated to everyone's kids. I'm obligated to mine. Enough.